Cash fund.
Thank you, Senator McCollister and Senator Grody. Senator McCoy, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President and members. I rise in opposition to LB 623 and to the amendments, including Senator Grody's amendment, underlying amendment. If you look at the committee statement, I was one of two of us that voted against this bill. I'm strongly opposed to this bill for a number of reasons, which I'm going to outline probably several times in the microphone, if for no other reason than to put on the record some very important items on this issue. One of them being in a handout that you received from Senator Nordquist. He talks about the fact that this issue has been, and I'll use his words, contested and argued. What he's not going into detail on, and I will, is that this issue was challenged in U.S. District Court by a DACA recipient and was thrown out last year by Judge Laurie Camp. I want to read from that ruling because I think it's a very salient, important information on this issue. And then we'll talk about some other things after that. But I want to read from that ruling. The defendant asserts that Saldana does not have lawful status in the United States, though she may have lawful presence. Saldana agrees that she lacks lawful status for purposes of federal immigration laws, but asserts that she has lawful status for purposes of the Act. This court finds it unnecessary to determine whether Saldana has lawful status for purposes of the Act because nothing in the Act requires states to issue driver's licenses to anyone. The Act simply sets minimum standards for the issuance of state driver's licenses and state identification cards. If such licenses and cards are to be accepted for federal use. Nothing in the Act, and of course we're talking about the federal Real I.D. Act, nothing in the Act prevents states from imposing standards or requirements that exceed those set out in the Act. The reason that information is vitally important is, and also is the reason Senator Nordquist mentioned that I handed out the original statement of intent from Senator Deb Fisher bill in 2011. We are the only state, members, the only state in the Union that has hardwired the Real I.D. Act into our state statutes in the way that we have. Because of that, we are the last state in the Union to not offer driver's license to these individuals, because we are the only state that explicitly outlines the fact that in order to get a driver's license in the state of Nebraska, you have to have lawful status. Other states say lawful presence. By the very nature of the federal, how this is complied with on a federal level, it's these individuals have lawful presence. They do not have lawful status. Senator Nordquist even acknowledges that in this handout that he gave to all of us this morning. That is the express reason that our Department of Motor Vehicles has not given driver's licenses to these individuals. Our state law prohibits this.
1 minute.
This bill, thank you, Mr. President, this bill could advance. And I